I wanted to take a quick minute to talk about why you may need to sharpen your photos even if you're only decreasing the size of them. Okay, a lot of times we think when we're increasing the size of something, we're losing resolution. Okay, we're degrading the photo. Okay, because we're stretching pixels and we're stretching things in the photo. So a lot of times when we enlarge an image, we know that we need to sharpen it to account for that enlargement. But you also may need to sharpen your photo when you're decreasing the size of it. Let me show you how. Let me show you why at first, and then I'll show you how. So here's the deal. Here's an image. If I go into free transform and I hold down my shift key and I were to make this smaller, okay, so basically let's say I took it down to there, and I'm not going to do it because I've already done it on a duplicate copy of the layer here. What I want to show you is just kind of take a look at what's going on here. Okay, look at how crisp and contrasty the lights in the building look over here. Okay, so they basically look like bright lights. Now take a look at it over here. You see how it tends to lose something? Okay, I'm not doing an exact color comparison, but I can just tell that these lights over here look brighter and look more contrasted, just overall look better and more detailed than these lights over here. And that's because as you reduce the size of something, now you're squishing a lot more into pixels. Okay, when you enlarge something, you're kind of stretching everything. But when you reduce the size, you're squishing a lot more into a pixel. Now it's got a little bit of a harder time to kind of render. It has to basically guess and render the way it thinks that things should look. Okay, and that's even when you go under here. If I go into the edit mode here, and I go down to, or let's say we go to image size here, and you can see it shows you nearest neighbor, bilinear, and it tells you what's best for reduction. All right, bicubic sharper. Even doing your reduction that way is still going to give you this kind of almost faded result by decreasing the size of your images. So what we want to do is, let me go ahead and duplicate the layer here. We go up here to filter. We go down to sharpen. I'm going to go to Unsharp Mask. Okay, wrong layer. Sorry about that. Make sure you choose the right copy. There we go. And we go to filter again. And we go down here to sharpen. And I'll go to Unsharp Mask. And what I'm looking for is, first off, a radius of about 1 pixel. Okay. And I know most of the time for sharpening, when you're just sharpening your digital camera photos, generally you want to go a little bit higher than 1 pixel, 1.2, 1.3. When it comes to reduction, all we need is 1 pixel. We're just talking about the web here, okay? So we're going to reduce to 1 pixel, and then you're going to take your amount, and your amount's going to be somewhere between 80 to 100%. I leave the threshold all the way down at 1, and your amount's going to be somewhere between 80 to 100%. It really just depends on how much you can get away with the photo. The good part about this is, chances are, if you're doing reduction, it's just for the web. Okay, you're reducing the size of the image so you can email it to somebody, so you can save it on the web, so you can show it on the website, whatever it is. That's why you're reducing the size. Well, the good news about it is you can preview it right on screen. Okay, when you're going to print this, if you're going to sharpen for printing, okay, and that's a whole nother topic that we'll cover in another video. But when you're sharpening for printing, there's really no way to preview exactly what it's going to look like when it's printed until you print it. But when it comes to sharpening for the web, like we're doing here, this is perfect because now I can see exactly that's before, that's after. I'll hit OK. And what I want you to look at here is just take a look at the lights on the building right over here. Okay, that's before, that's after. You can see they just look more crisp. Okay, they just kind of have a contrasty, crisper feeling to them, more like what we saw down here. You can actually see that they're all lights, where when you turn it off, kind of looks like they all blur and they all kind of run together. So that's how important that sharpening for the web can be. And here's just one more example. I'll open up another one for you. But take a look. Look at the texture that we have and all the bricks here. And when we resize and we make it smaller, especially up here, look at how that texture all starts to run together. Okay, we don't really see the brick texture anymore, but when we sharpen it, now we see it better. Okay, it just makes those details stand out more. And that's why sharpening, even if you're reducing the size of something, that's why sharpening is still important. So even, most of the time we think of it like, if I'm going to increase the size of something, I need to sharpen. If you're going to decrease the size of something, especially if it's got tiny little details and textures in it, you're probably still going to need to sharpen the photo.